Ladies and gents, my name is Brandon Stover. Welcome to the How to Solve Climate Change course from Plato University. Causes, systems, obstacles, solutions to this global challenge is what you're going to learn here today. When you're ready to learn more skills, join us for free at plato.university. Let's get started with today's lesson. Now that we understand the problem, let's shift our focus to a portfolio of solutions. As you listen to the next portion of this course, understand that no one solution is going to completely solve the problem. Each solution in the following section of the course addresses different leverage points. See, instead of trying to change every aspect of a system, which can be quite overwhelming, as a systems thinker, you're going to seek out leverage points to strategically allocate resources for maximum impact. Leverage points refer to specific areas within a system where a small intervention or change can lead to significant and lasting impact on the overall behavior and outcomes of the system. Leverage points are instrumental in changing the overall behavior and structure of systems, allowing for the pursuit of desirable goals and the mitigation of challenges. They represent opportunities to address root causes, alter feedback loops, and direct the course of change within complex systems. An example of a leverage point is a policy change. A small change in a regulatory policy could create incentives that lead to widespread behavioral changes, such as encouraging environmentally friendly practices. A different leverage point may be a feedback loop. Altering the strength and direction of feedback loops within a system can lead to shifts in patterns of behavior. For instance, changing how performance feedback is given to employees might influence their productivity. Another leverage point is where resources are being allocated. Redirecting resources to a critical area can have cascading effects throughout the entire system. For instance, investing in education might lead to improved societal outcomes over time. This is the thesis of Plato University. If we return back to our iceberg model that I introduced previously in this course, we identified the visible problem, the patterns of behavior underlying that problem, the system structures underlying those patterns of behavior, and the mental models underlying those system structures. At any one of these levels, there may be leverage points that you can use to affect the levels above it. Now, this might allude to why we're going to attack leverage points, but let's paint some of these out more clearly. First, focusing on leverage points allows you to achieve significant results with relatively small interventions, saving resources and effort. If you attack a leverage point, you may be able to make a bigger change without having to put in so much effort to make that outsized change. Second, changes made at leverage points can lead to self-sustaining shifts in the system, promoting long-term improvements. And lastly, leverage points facilitate systematic change by addressing the root causes or key drivers of issues, rather than merely addressing symptoms. Remember, we're not putting band-aids here. We're trying to address the reasons that this challenge is occurring. It's the only way we're actually going to be able to solve them. So how do we identify a leverage point? Well, this is a great time to pull back out that iceberg model you created before, and that I hope that you've been updating as you've gone through this course. As we've spoken with our experts, or dug into some of the research, or been helped by AI, we've started to see some of the reasons and areas of improvement that we can do to these systems underlying this problem. We've also identified some of the root causes to this global challenge. So to identify this leverage point, first, do a systems analysis. Conduct a thorough analysis of the system structures, feedback loops, and interactions to identify points where changes could have far-reaching effects. Look at all the elements. If you change one of them, which of those are going to have the greatest impact across the rest of the system? Which points are going to bring the most benefit to our stakeholders and minimize the risk to those that already benefit from this challenge occurring? These are going to be your leverage points. When you identify those, do some testing and modeling and experimenting. Use simulations to explore the potential impact of interventions before actually implementing or creating a solution. Test how this system works. When you make a change at that leverage point, how does it reverberate through the rest of the system? As you're doing this, remember to get stakeholder input. Engage with stakeholders to gain insights into where they perceive the most critical areas for change. The leverage points that you examine may not be the same ones that the stakeholders are examining. And the truth is, the stakeholders are the ones in the system. They may have a better understanding of it than you do. They're going to have a different perspective, a boots on the street perspective. You, because you're analyzing the entire system, have a 30,000 foot view perspective. You see all of the parts and pieces. Each of you are going to identify different leverage points. One of them may be better than the other. We're not putting on judgment on which one is going to be better and who is right. All we want to do is solve this problem. It may also help to do a historical analysis, studying the history of the system to identify past interventions that had unexpectedly large impacts. Truth is, you're not the first person to try and solve this problem. As we go through this next part of the course, you're going to hear a ton of solutions. You're going to hear a ton of people identifying leverage points and trying to create something that solves this global challenge. Somebody may already have a great solution and a great leverage point that they're attacking. All you need to do is join them and give them more horsepower. Others may be totally missing a very obvious leverage point, and that could be one that you tackle. So studying what's already going on within the space is going to better help you create models and eventually solutions. Once you've done your analysis, you identified your leverage point, you started testing and modeling what a change at that leverage point could do, and you've engaged stakeholders who may be affected by this change, then you're going to want to actually create a hypothesis for solutions at that leverage point. What are the most effective interventions that you think you could make at this leverage point, and how do you think you can go about doing that? When you've created out a list of solutions, evaluate the possible solutions and see which ones might be most effective at that leverage point. We're going to cover this more later after we go through our portfolio of solutions so that you can actually make a plan for solving this global challenge. For now, identify the leverage points and research what has been done to solve this problem thus far. Thank you for taking the How to Solve Climate Change course. If you want to learn the skills to solve this global challenge, join us for free at plato.university for exclusive content, extra resources, and actionable exercises with every lesson. This course was produced by Plato University, where students turn passions into purpose and learn skills to change the world. Learn more at plato.university.